comes up here, he's got one leg, he sits in a chair and he sells meth, right? Which, by the way, there's some crooked cops here in Tallahassee that have been using homeless people against me and my mom. One thing you're doing is trying to make me look like a fuckhead or a shitbag or a drug addict or a criminal. I've helped a few people get sober. I've tried to clean the fucking place up, man. The whole reason why there's not Tent City and another Tent City, 2 tent cities down there in the fucking woods by the shelter is because of me, motherfucker. Because I couldn't believe that the police were aware of that and were letting it go on. Apparently, that's where somebody was found overdosed and or strangled. Okay? I stand up against crooked cops. I stand up against corruption. I stand up against the Luciferians. Okay? You cannot rape, steal, kill, destroy, pillage, blackmail, bribe, and commit crime to solve crime. It's not happening. You're done. Dick. Richard. Little Dick. You're done. You're the diddlers. You're the diddlers with badges. You're the type of motherfuckers that made it possible for people like Sean Combs to do what he was doing. Now, I've got a feeling you're one of the private pilots that have been playing taxi for the elite. Like maybe Jeffrey Epstein. Because Richard, you're the richest, best, most experienced ex-cop and military private pilot and evil bastard in the south of the tri-state area in the nation. Your wife runs Woodman of the World Life Insurance. Dude, this is scary. I'm just a jeweler. I'm a laser engraver. I'm the guy that likes to do memorial shit. For when the pandemic hit, I'm like, dude, I can make some good money doing memorials for people. Doing urns, t-shirts, headstones. I want to give back. I went served at FedEx. I want to work in mail, so I go do that. Wow. So the person who stole my identity is still sitting over there at the gas pump just watching me. I guess I got Tiffany and Maxwell on me this morning watching me. I just don't know why, because I'm here to meet the people to sell my car. Funny, huh? I got trespassed yesterday and told him, yo, you better get your fucking car off the lot or it'll be towed. Malicious towing and intent is to be found behind the new manager and the Circle K and their staff. Anyways, this ain't no fucking joke. This ain't no fucking game. And I've got a certain set of skills. Now, I'm not the fucking best, but I'm highly capable. This is like real Game of Thrones shit, alright? Listen to me, man. If I could just have one person to believe me and believe in me and look at all the evidence, I understand about certain... I understand how the law works, man. I understand. You've got to have proof. You've got to have evidence. What I've got to have is the story and the plot and the web and the factors that make it. All I've got to do is lay it all out for a jury to see, Richard. That's it, dude. I don't need any real fucking physical proof. You want me to start looking for the murder weapon? I wouldn't have to look at your house. I'd have to look at your friend's house. Any fellow private pilots that could be holding a baseball bat or an axe or something that could have been wrapped in a towel and hit my grandma over the head with because, well, she called us and told us Richard was trying to kill her and after her life and had his hands in the money and that house was bugged and the phones were tapped and you know he knows all that FBI stuff. Please, Libby, you and Patrick come get me. One day, man. One day went by, not even 2, and my grandma was found brain hemorrhaged. That's what they're planning on with me. Do you guys understand why now I was given the diagnosis of Chiari malformation? They thought it was a nutrient channel. I do not feel like I actually have this brain injury. The only thing that makes me feel like that is when I have a dizzy spell, when I wake up and my hands and my feet are numb and tingling and hurting and in pain. It's apparent that I do, but I wouldn't have known if it weren't for symptoms, especially if I'm just going off of a lawyer's word who's been blackmailed, or a doctor's word who's been blackmailed. So things could be a lot easier for a lot of people if you just admit your fucking crimes. I'd like to tell you that the guy who was the president of the bank when it happened is alive to talk, but he was a sissy, and he was in the closet wearing women's clothing and stuff. He shot himself in the head. I think Richard was first on the scene to find him. As a matter of fact, that's how he's gotten away with a lot. Richard's been the first on the scene to a lot of things. My grandmother's death certificate isn't checked off where it says accidental death or suicide, or that little box you got to check off. Wasn't checked off. Where's the will? By the way, you're in big fucking trouble. Why didn't it go to probate, dude? You're supposed to go to court and go to probate. You paid some people off, and you probably blackmailed and scared or coerced some judges. Cairo in Atlanta's small, dude. Thomasville's small. Your little circle is small. The GBI is small. The crooks you use, it's small. There are an elite group of fighters out there that are fighting against the evil, satanic, Luciferian agenda, dude. Yes, we're aware we have infiltration within our government. That's what the president and Mr. Musk is trying to clean up now. This is the point. I'm glad I just said that. This is the point. Do I have to be Elon Musk's son to be believed? I don't give a fuck about that patent sitting in the backseat to me. That just happens to be there. That's good for me because it makes me look like what I said is true. Oh, what do you know? Another Central Intelligence Agency fucking plant. This guy admitted to me being a Central Intelligence officer. His name's Paul. He just recently started coming back around again, too. He's a genius and builds solar panels. He earned his way into the FBI or CIA when he brought down a power grid in South Florida. He was made, like a soldier, to walk here. So, Paul walked here for 4 days, and then, all he really cared about was telling me the story about how our uncles knew each other and fought and flew together. See how they use us against each other? So Paul's uncle fought and flew with my uncle who died, Uncle Greg. And so, how fucked up is that? I can't reach out to the circle of friends and pilots my uncle had because my uncle's already gone around behind me and tried to project his crimes of what he did as a child and as a person and in his adulthood to his sister, which is his cousin, my mother, and lie about me to justify to normal people why, when, and how he's committing the crimes of the Luciferian agenda on me. It is not coincidence I was hit head on in a car collision, morning following Halloween. If you think it is, then you're dumb or a part of the problem. That's not coincidence. When a young man I confided in 2 weeks before me was hit also, that I worked with, it's too much power. I'm sorry. You have too much power, and you're a bad person. You're the type of person Kash Patel and our entire FBI and Secret Service need to worry about, because you can hide from within. Now, you owe the federal government $5 million. You had a $10 million diamond estate sale, which you bragged about online. You brag about being a multi-millionaire and filthy fucking rich all the time. You're rich because you murdered Irene Moore. Easy to cover up in your own home, in your own state, with your own homies from the GBI and Thomasville Police Department on your side. I mean, fuck, you insure everybody's lives in the area, so I don't think anybody wants to go against you. Not to mention you sling their fucking motorcycle and plane parts. What a shame that'd be if you just fell out of the sky. Richard, did you have anything to do with what the fuck happened to Kennedy's plane when it got sabotaged? Motherfucker. I think you're running the Southern Terrorist Cell. I think I found the leader of the Proud Boys. Boys. Anybody want to take me serious? I don't got nothing to hide. Richard Lane will not let you look through his computers. He will not let you look through his file cabinets in his attic or his cellar. He held a $10 million. The watch alone of my grandma's Cartier watch, Cartier, was 4.5 or 4.7 million fucking dollars. I think it was around 13 carats worth of diamonds on that watch. Judy Lane, you're just as fucking guilty. You lie. Irene said we could have all this. No, Irene said this. I'm afraid for my life. Please, come get me. The phones are tapped. The house is locked. You know your brother's capable of all this with that FBI stuff. Please, Libby, come get me. I want to change the will around and take Richard out of it. We will go to my attorney as soon as we get out of Thomasville. She had multiple banks with money stashed all over. I'm going to be able to prove this shit. Even if I can't prove the murder, which I can, even without a weapon, just by the facts, by your actions, and the money. Follow the money. This is how I caught you. The money. You had a $10 million diamond estate sale where you sold grandma's $5 million Cartier watch and her rings and all of her jewelry, and you didn't pay the fucking government, you fucking idiot. Yeah. Those stolen diamonds that had serial numbers on all of them that came from the owner of Jones Day, New York, the biggest, wealthiest law firm in the country. That's who gave my grandma that watch, because my grandma opened up Jones Day, the Atlanta sector, as in the Jones Day attorneys at law in Atlanta. We also helped build the underground tunnels. We gave our house to, our Aunt Tilly's house was used during the Great Fire of Atlanta. Anyways, man, look. I have an ex-girlfriend named Savannah Evans. She was a 12-point gymnast and on the Wheaties box at 10. Super badass gymnast, super badass athlete, right? My best friend was convinced to cheat on me with her and da-da-da-da-da-da, and this is what happened, and that was Austin Osborne. Austin's dead. He tried to admit to me everything that had happened and he had done wrong, which was his mother's death and passing and the life insurance fraud, him being involved with the Masons, and sleeping with Savannah, my ex, and this and that. Well, they brought Savannah's friend in. Her name was Jessica. She was a good friend of Savannah's, to soften the blow, make me feel better, and give me a new girlfriend, right? I really did like her. She was a real sweetie. Richard, you got to answer for that. Jessica was raped by you. She lived in Mary Esther. She brought me to her home one time and told me everything in her room. The only way she could get away from you was by joining the military. You're going to have to answer for that, Jessica. Now, the first woman you cheated on your wife with, your dying mother's nurse. You were having an affair with Shauna, fucking your dead mother's hospice help at my mother's apartment behind her back when my mom was taking care of your mom, who was really her aunt, who let you get away with molesting your cousin and would tell my mom, don't make up lies on your brother, because, well, there was a $3,000 to $4,000 check rolling in every month for my mama. from her mom, my grandma. So, I know this is all going to be really hard to believe from a badge, but it's true. This is how my wife was convinced, I'm sure, whatever lies were told about me. With everything my mother, which thank God she's still alive, has divulged in me and told me, I now know how, when, and where, and why Richard could use lies against me and my character, even from a young age, to throw people off. If this man's walking around and telling people I molested my cousin, I'm gonna just blow his fucking head off, dude. Because I've got the proof from my mom. Richard is a giant child. Steal your money, point at you and go, he stole my money. Slice your tire, point at you and go, he sliced my tire. So I do have a sneaking suspicion feeling that my uncle's trying to do something like call me a pervert or a chomo or some sick, twisted shit and say something to like my friends and family, whatever he could, the sickest, most dramatic. See what I mean? That's the type of thing you have to tell somebody to convince them, oh, it's okay that we're going to try and kill this guy and hit him head on in a car collision or poison him. He's a fucking child molester. Or a rapist. Nobody likes that dude. Even the most hardcore fucking thug and prisoner will tell you, we've got a special place for fucking rapists and murderers and crooked cops. They normally put you in a room by yourself. Because motherfuckers will just chop your head off and play basketball with it. Now, you've blackmailed too many people. Like Spencer Cross, a very, very, very wealthy, multi-million-dollar man who's an attorney who stood to make a lot of money from my lawsuit at the hospital. Probably about $5 million. He was going to get 33%. I told him I'd give him 40 or 50 just because I liked his face. He had to drop me after 5 years. That's illegal, by the way, just for no reason. And, oh, I'm not qualified, and da-da-da-da. You took on the job, and I can fucking sue the shit out of him, but I don't want to. I want something more precious and priceless. I want respect in a business relationship. I want this man to know that I'm not the one who was afraid and who wasn't going to run and talk and tell the right people. You can't do that, Richard. When you start fucking with the head lawyers in Virginia, buddy, you fucked up. You fucked up. Spencer Cross, Santos, up there, they don't play. And I know you did. I know you did. Because you had the biker babe Brittany, who just popped back up in my life again, trying to prove, and we're cyber hacking you, as I'm trying to turn them in, and my reports are getting kicked back and manipulated, and then they do their own, and then the cops actually came and put an injunction restraining order on me, feloniously, fictitiously, not following due process, and not in uniform, so it didn't stick. But what they were trying to do is make sure I can't have any kind of weaponry on me to protect myself in case of someone's trying to hurt me in the event. That didn't work, so they just fired me for having my pepper ball gun under the register. The assistant manager, Brian, carries a Glock 9 on him every day in his backpack. So, told you guys I was right about the Circle K. Told you guys I was a good detective and can prove if you're being set up and about to be killed, dude. I told you. The employee that got fired for cybersecurity or another, he tried to point out to the Circle K. He tried to tell him, look, dude, we just got hacked, and this wasn't my fault, and they're pretending to be your IT department. This goes deeper. A month later, the entire fucking Circle K apparently got hacked from what our manager, Julie Tennell, says, and they fired him. Well, that just happens to be the person. That's not the regular security guard, but on the day of inauguration, the day I was meant to be shot, when we had 3 Freemasons and 2 of my ex-enemies who stole my identity all show up on the scene here, and especially Daniel Maxwell, who has been trespassed from this place because of cursing at the manager, that tells me I was about to be shot that day, so I didn't go into work. They looked mighty fucking stupid sitting there. Everybody else had called off. I was supposed to be there by myself alone, fucked, with a compromised security guard because y'all already fucking either hit him in a wreck or proved to control his life and have kept him at the streets and under your thumb. I can prove shit, man. I'm good at it. And I find it highly valuable for people like President Trump and RFK and Mr. Musk, all the people who were denied fucking special secret service when they needed it. All the people who are afraid because they're telling the truth, I stand up for those people. I'd take a polygraph, but I'm not too sure the person giving it can be fucking trusted. Jade Lofton committed suicide, jumped off a 9th-story balcony. Smith tried to catch her. Get the fuck out of here. Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe that. And I believe my uncle was somewhere, somehow, somewhere in there involved. My uncle infiltrated my mother's group of friends, my group of friends, my high school, any of their rich families, targeted. Hank Pruner shot himself, dead. Bonnie Carragher. Jade Lofton. Matt DeStefano. Alan Beach. Matthew Jordan. He survived, but his fiance is dead. Head-on car collision. Happens in that coincidence with Amber being involved, my sister-in-law, who's got premeditated attempted murder on her record. Somebody made a sacrifice somewhere. And you want me to believe Matt's homeless and in the street and doing horrible. Get the fuck out of here. Richard, you've infiltrated every circle of friends I've ever had. You've lied. You've lied on me, and you've accused me of the crimes that you committed on my mother to convince everybody else that it was okay to go against me. And then you threatened them, coerced them, blackmailed them, or gave them the propaganda that they're going to have a different and better life when it's all done. All these people don't know that they'll be looking over their shoulder the rest of their life when dealing with you. I don't want to buy my plane or motorcycle parts from the same person and family I'm paying my life insurance to. I had a good friend, her name's Terry Ann Stokes. I wanted to marry her. We never had sex. It's one woman I loved very much, and I wanted to marry her because of the purity that she held, and just having a normal, good Christian companion wife that believed in what we do, and as a virgin. And I loved that girl so much. I respected that. Do you know that I do believe she's aware of, since we were dating at the time, of my family sabotaging my motorcycle to the point where I was in that bad bike wreck. Because when I woke up, I was the only person standing over me. And it's like she had things to tell me but couldn't. She told me she loved me. She was deciding to... She ran away to Haiti. You made my ex-girlfriend run away to Haiti. You made Savannah Evans cheat on me with Austin Osborne, who you later killed. Austin was killed. He was found dead by the police officer first on the scene, who he actually had a restraining order on him by. He had reached out to me and he was ready to talk and tell me everything. Austin had to look over his shoulder because, well, he gave up his mother. When his mom died, he did exactly what my uncle did to my mother. He did that to Maggie, his sister, my good friend who's married to a Marine named Thomas. Austin, I do believe, killed Carlotta and got away with it, and then robbed Maggie of any kind of hope or life insurance money or anything. And then that's what proved his power and position over me for my uncle and them and that. This is all very... They go by rules, and they go by... it's like a religion, dude. The Luciferians, the Masonic order. Not all Masons are like that, but some are. And a lot of them are at the 33rd degree level and hidden. That guy pretended to be blind when I first met him. He'd have me push him around in the wheelchair. He wanted me to put him in the car and take him here and there. He was setting me up to be hit in a car wreck. And one day, all of a sudden, he goes and has LASIK eye surgery, and he can see perfect, and he can drive. There's a young lady named Danielle Stampone, and she admitted to me that man has forced himself on her more than once, and then just thrown money at her and told her to keep her mouth shut. She used to be a waitress at the Governor's Lounge and Lodge, man, and at the Masonic Lodge and shit. And she told me that they were after me one night when she tried to confide in me. I guess she fell in love with me at the hotel, and then broke down and told me that the hotel there was having an escort ring going on. And so I've been doing a large amount of private investigations on all amounts of things, especially in the midst of and in the middle of doing my work for me, to prove my innocence and prove what's being going on in the manipulation around me and my mom. There was 2 FBI agents that were posted up in the house across the street from my mom on Slash Pine Lane, where they're retired, when my mom's home was broken into, and she had her ribs broken and bent over the table and was butt fucked. And when she went to tell on everybody, it was called felonious and fictitious. She was called crazy. They told her they had to sweep it under the rug. They weren't about to look into it with the colonel. She needed to go to the FBI and suggest that she go across the street to her neighbors that are FBI and talk to them, and just that it was out of their hands. The colonel called the police officer in front of my mom right there on the scene. He was like, "What do you want me to do with her?" And he was like, "Baker actor. I need you to get rid of her, get her and put her in the mental ward." I was in Virginia, and my wife had just been punched in the stomach. Isaac. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening. This turned into an hour-long video, and I was just trying to